Greetings and salutations. It is I, your Lord and Savior, Lord Monarch, back to you again with another Coliseum-style Wi-Fi battle. Today we have a special guest, starting their Wi-Fi battling career in the era of Gen 8, one of the new generation upstarts, pretty much around the advent of just Weavile, but not necessarily affiliated with Weavile. The PokeTuber Daddy Mac. So this guy's pretty interesting. This is my first time battling this individual. Honestly, I just randomly came across them on YouTube because I'm looking to expand my circle and broaden my horizons, and I just came across this gentleman, Daddy Mac, and he was courteous enough to accommodate my request for a Coliseum style Wi-Fi battle. Anywho, you all just sit back, relax, and enjoy this Coliseum-style match unfold. Who will win? Moi, Lord Monarch, or my opponent, Daddy Mac? Stay tuned. clever, so my opponent um, probably anticipated that I would have switched out. I'm assuming that they had Sucker Punch. So they must have anticipated me switching out, and they went for Kowtow Cleave, but nonetheless, I, Lord Monarch, come prepared. As you can see, my Dawn fan has the Rocky Helmet. Now, the Corviknight using Defog to get rid of the hazards, I'm not gonna lie, that's my fault. I deadass forgot that Cool Dango's ability can stop it from using, could stop Mons from using moves like Defog, making them useless. So again, like, I have so many teams, I use so many different kinds of Mons, I am not gonna fully remember what every single one of these characters do, and I'm not gonna fully remember what all of my teams do. Anywho, keep watching. Sadly, I'm gonna have to timer stall, not because I feel like I needed it to win, but it's because I won't have enough time to finish the entire match. What I would have done is I would have allowed the Mien Shao to take down one of my Mons and then send in Guldango and wail on Mien Shao with Make It Rain. So as you can see, I pretty much won that one. There's no fucking way in hell that my opponent would have been able to withstand Make It Rain, whether they wanted to leave the Mien Shao in or if they wanted to switch it out for their Ogapan. Guldango would have pretty much fucked my opponent up. Furthermore, it turns out that my opponent's Mien Shao was not Choice Scarf, but it was Choice Banded. So again, Guldango pretty much would have won me this match anyway. I only time stalled because again, we don't have enough time to finish the entire match. But when me and Daddy Mac have a rematch, you better believe our battles are going to be hour long. In fact, I'm going to do that for all the inevitable rematches that I have with the PokeTubers on this channel. I'm going to make our battles an hour long, and no one could fucking say shit like, oh, he time stalled, that's how I won. No. I won through pure tenacity, skill, overwhelming power, willpower. That's how I won. No time of skull shenanigans. What do you think I am? Bootleg? I'm not bootleg. I'm Lord Monarch, motherfucker. Anywho, on to round 2. So in case you all haven't noticed, we are seeing this match through my opponent's perspective. You see, when I was recording the second round, silly me, I had turned on my recording equipment after the first or second, maybe third turn. So you guys are gonna miss the first and possibly second turns. So Daddy Mac did me a solid and he emailed me his side of the battle. So don't get confused, but you are watching Daddy Mac's side. But me, I took the liberties of editing it to my specifications. I will be linking Daddy Mac's his versions of our best 2 out of 3 in the description, so feel free to check that. I'm curious, does anyone of you guys ever look at the description? Because I make sure I link my opponent's sides of our best 2 out of 3s there. And I'm just curious to know if anyone ever checks that out, if anyone checks out my opponent, looks at my opponent's videos or whatever, because ironic enough, a lot of you guys that are subscribed to me, you guys don't really dig PokeTubers that much. You guys are more focused on the Smogon scene, where you guys do your own thing. So, check out my opponents. Look at the link in the description, look at their content. You might like it. And let them know that Lord Monarch sent you. You know what I mean? Helps me build healthy relationships with fellow content creators. And it also helps me get my name out there. So do me that solid and be sure to check the link in the description. Anywho, keep watching the match. So as you could see, and my opponent did not know that Miss Magius has the ability Levitate, and this is what happens when you are not used to battling different mons, when you're just so hell-bent and focused on, battling OU mons or whatever mons that's up and trending. This is why it's good to branch out and, well, I don't want to say play different tiers, because I don't believe in tiers. I don't believe in the tier system. But, this is why it's good to, use different characters, see what it is that they could do. I don't just use a character, because of its stats and its ability. Use it because you like that character, because you want that character to shine. And that's what Coliseum style rules is all about. You could bring almost any kind of mon here and make it shine. We're not like Smogon that's gonna tell you, well, what character is good, what character is bad. How good or bad that character is based on the player using that character. The player decides how good that character is. Anywho, as you could see, my Miss Magius pretty much walls the ever-living shit out of that Gliscor. It cannot toxic me, it cannot hit me with Earthquake. U-turn is gonna do jack diddly squat. It can't do anything to me, and I just fuck it up with Hex. So I don't even need to burn it with Will-O-Wisp, it just gets fucked up by Hex. Anywho, keep watching. So I pretty much won this battle. Again, darn timer, but I pretty much won this best 2 out of 3. There's really nothing it is that my opponent could do. I believe my opponent, Daddy Mac, I did watch his version of this match, and he did say that he could win. Let me correct you there, my good sir. There was nothing in the ever-living fuck that you could do to win this match. My Meowscarada outspeeds every one of your mons. There is nothing the fuck it is that you could do. You would have lost this match. Your Samurott, assuming if you can hit my Hippowdon, assuming if you were to hit my Hippowdon with your Ceaseless Edge, I could get off a Slacking Off, and the Sandstorm and the Toxic would have finished you off. And then again, say if you send out your Ambipom or you send out your Gliscor, again, there's nothing that they could do. Even if you want to send out your Paradox Mon, the Steel Psychic type, the Paradox Mon of Cobalon, it can't do anything to me. Because my Meowscarada is packing knockoff. Meowscarada just pretty much fucks up the rest of your entire team. There's nothing the ever-living fuck it is that you could do. Samurott was gonna go bye-bye. Only way for Samurott to defeat Hippowdon is if, again, the Ceaseless Edge hit, you got a critical hit. And yeah, you would have to hit, and you would need to get a critical hit. And again, that's assuming you would hit me, because Ceaseless Edge is a 90% accurate move. Hippowdon gets off a Slacking Off, Samurott goes bye-bye. The rest of your mons, they get fucked up by Meowscarada. Don't even get me started on your Gliscor. Your Gliscor gets walled the fuck by my Miss Magius. There was no way in hell you were winning this match, so I figured I'd correct you there. Anywho, a good game to my opponent. Hopefully Daddy Mac and I can battle again in the foreseeable future. I'd love to have a rematch. This time, make the battle an hour long. You all enjoy the rest of your day. This is Lord Monarch signing off. Farewell, my loyal subjects. Till next time.